hello.
Oh gosh. Way to start it off good.
Camera turns on and I'm like, awkward.
Oh. So, my hand is itching so bad right now. Okay. Cut. Okay, so this is going to be kind of a video journal of our experience conceiving our son. There's going to be lots of different parts to these videos, but I felt like we had to start with this one because this is like the story. This is what happened. This is like the beginning, and even though it's not what's going on right now, it's good to look back and remember what had happened, so then we can get to like why we're really making this like series, if that makes sense.
Part of why we wanted to make this was just because, well, for a couple reasons. One was just like you said, to remember.
I don't want to forget these details someday, because I know I will.
Remember what God has done in our lives and through our story the last 5 years of our marriage, and what ended up, eventually giving us this guy.
Who is currently watching. It looks like he's trying to be hypnotized. He's currently watching Praise Baby.
But how we got him. So just first off, to remember like what God has done in our lives, but also to remember, what He's doing now, and how that adds to
also,
right now. So.
I have had lots of conversations with different people in the last 4 or 5 years that are going through very similar things to what I've gone through. What we've gone through, and so I think this could be helpful for someone, and if that's the case, that's the goal. So I guess it was the October before we got married, so October 2012.
Dang, we've been together a long time.
We're old. Not old, but it feels like it. It was October 2012. You look really tiny now.
I'm trying to step out of frame.
We were getting married. I was 19 years old. By the time we got married, I was 20, but I was so scared of having a honeymoon baby. I wanted to go on birth control. That's what all my friends were doing. That's what the doctors recommended, and that's what everyone thought was best. And I agreed, because we were in no financial place or mental place to start our family. So I went to go see my doctor, and I went on birth control. And I think within a month or two, I was gaining weight already and just not feeling myself. I started to feel like I was watching myself live my life, if that makes sense. I was super irritable. My mood was so up and down. Any of my college friends can remember this because they had to reap the blessings of that. And I was living in a dorm room with a bunch of girls, so I think that was obviously part of it too.
They was hormonal together.
Sure. So I tried, I think it was 4 or 5 different kinds of birth control within 1 year. We got married May 2013, and I'm surprised we made it to that day because things were just really rough. So we got married. The day itself was awesome. Honeymoon was awesome. We left on tour. That was overall, I look back, I'm like, that was a really good experience. But in hindsight, I do remember being very crazy, very crazy.
On tour, meaning we were a part of the worship band at Ozark Christian College where we went to school. And so we would travel around and do a bunch of camps or one-off nights at churches and stuff. And so we got married, had our own honeymoon, and then a week later left
with 10 other people.
For 2 months.
10 other musicians.
Who don't have any personality. Right. No, I'm just kidding.
No, everyone has lots of personality.
Strong opinions.
Lots of different personalities.
And it was great. It was good. But her mood fluctuations were a bit extreme at times. And I was sensitive to it. And we were freshly married. I was thinking, what in the world have I gotten into? No, I wasn't thinking that. Milo, you're super distracted.
Oh my gosh, did you just say that? I was distracted by Milo. But no, it was just the struggle. I think part of it too was tour was hard. We were just married. We
had no stability, home, no place to retreat.
We were sleeping in different beds every night. It was just, it's just hard to not have a home. So that was, the start of everything. Anyway, so I think it was was it that November? Yeah, because I was on birth control for a year. So that November, I, after seeing my doctor multiple times saying this was not working, he just kept changing my prescription to a different birth control. And he was like, well, this one's lower dose, or this one is lower estrogen, or this one's higher something. Like he would just try, like tweak it, and he said, you'll find your blend. And I never found the right blend of birth control. And so come November 2013, I got off of birth control. And then within a month, I had lost 10 pounds. And I had gained 50 pounds. Not 15,
in 1 year.
50 pounds in 1 year. Which is not good for so many different health reasons. Not even just like my, mental stability, but like all of you gain that much weight in a year, you're gonna have some side effects. So I lost 10 pounds within a month of being off birth control. I was basically stuck with the rest because that's just how it works, I guess, with hormones. And then my mood started to feel... my mood started to feel a lot better. And I remember, like, that's when things started really getting a lot better for us.
Yes.
Am I remembering correctly?
You are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So things started getting a lot easier, a lot better.
It took a few months for like things to level out.
To regulate, yeah.
So we basically we decided to for birth control, because she went off the pill.
I was just gonna track my cycles.
Well, we were tracking cycles, and then we still using condoms.
Yeah.
And the pull and pray method.
The pull and pray method.
And then,
it worked for us.
Well, because
you
had some issues.
Yes. Okay. So then when I got off birth control, I didn't get my cycle for 9 months.
Which is really bad.
It's really not healthy. So then at that point, I went to go see a doctor, and I was diagnosed with Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, which 1 in 10 women have these days. I'm convinced more than 1 in 10 have it and are just undiagnosed, because there's so many different symptoms and different types of PCOS that a lot of people could have it and just not know it because their symptoms are really mild. I would consider myself a mild case, even though it's, given us a lot of heartache and struggle. So then I was diagnosed with that, and I remember going to Zach's office that day and just being really upset because I knew that it would make it really hard to have kids, and I knew that I didn't really honestly know what it entailed, I just knew it was bad. So then, I guess, what did I do from there? We just started trying to get my cycle back, I guess. I was trying to lose weight. I was trying to lose weight,
just eat
pounds.
healthier, get your cycle back.
Yeah.
We tried to, at one point when we had first moved here to the Indy area, we had seen a specialist up in Greenwood.
Oh, okay, so we're skipping ahead. Okay. So yeah, I had lived with it, trying to lose weight. I remember I just tried and tried. Like that. My main focus was losing weight because my doctor said if I lost weight, my PCOS would get better.
Yeah,
which is definitely that's a huge part of it. But my doctor didn't mention that it was really hard to lose weight with PCOS because of all the hormone disturbances. So, do you want to sit with us? Nope. No. Okay, didn't think so.
Well, in the meantime, between you figuring out you had PCOS. And
I remember doing Ideal Protein. I remember doing Beachbody. I was just really trying to lose weight. And I didn't realize that a lot of my weight was from inflammation. And that's something that I didn't find out until recently.
We'll talk more on that in a different video in this series. But basically we went for 2.5 years from when you kind of figured it out to when we moved here and actually saw a specialist. And in that 2-year time, you had seen someone in Missouri who did confirm you had it, and did a blood panel and all that kind of stuff.
The intrauterine ultrasound. So basically, they saw the cysts. They did the blood panel. My testosterone was high. My I think my B vitamins were really low. My D vitamins were low. I want to say my estrogen was really high. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what was going on.
It doesn't matter. Things were still off. There were issues. So we moved here. Almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah, to the Indy area.
And we saw a specialist up in Greenwood, which is about
pretty much.
15
I think that was
minutes
about 4 or 5 months after we moved here, because we were like, okay, now we're settled. We know we're here to stay, and this still isn't happening. So years had passed since that first diagnosis. So
we weren't using any kind of birth control at that point. It had been 2 years ever since you found out that we stopped using all kinds of birth control.
Yeah.
And just, if it happens, we're ready. If not, I guess we'll try to figure out how to try harder from there.
So then we went to go see the specialist up in Indy, and he did another blood panel and said that my prolactin was high.
They were surprised.
They were really surprised that I wasn't like actually leaking milk, because the prolactin level is what is responsible for like breast milk production after you have a baby, which is also why they say that when you're breastfeeding, it kind of works as birth control because it keeps you from ovulating. So he was thinking that the reason why I wasn't ovulating and all of that stuff was because my prolactin was so high. And I mean, I definitely think that was part of it. So I went on this pill called bromocriptin. And all I remember about it is that it made me so tired when I drove. And that was one of the side effects, but I would like be driving like and be like so tired, like trying not to fall asleep. But then I would pull over to a rest stop to like sleep because I was about to fall asleep on the road. And then I would just like be so awake. And so it was literally just sleepiness while I drove. Like that was my one side effect of that pill. But so I ended up getting off of that and then going on metformin, which was the next thing that he recommended. So that's supposed to like lower your insulin levels because people with polycystic ovarian syndrome have high insulin and like crazy blood sugars that go up and down all the time. So I went on metformin for a bit and then ended up feeling really sick on that. I remember the nausea, and it messed with my digestive system quite a bit, and so I did not last long on that. So I got off of that, and then at this time I was doing hair at a salon downtown in Franklin, and I had a walk-in one day, and she was a Plexus ambassador. So normally with companies like that do this, like, you know, the pyramid scheme and all of that, I was kind of like, I'm not a huge fan usually. But
like
she
naturally
was
skeptical.
Right, I'm naturally skeptical. But she said that these pills were directly related with blood sugar. So it's like supplementation. It's all vegan, all natural. Everything is like approved and everything. And so when she said that, I decided to look into it more, and I started watching different videos and reading different articles on it, and decided that it was something that I wanted to try because my next step was IUI, and that's what gets really expensive. So I was like, what's, you know, $130 more in the grand scheme of things if it were to work. So I start the products. It was at the end of November 2016, and I was pregnant. We conceived December 24th, 2016. So I don't know if it was the Plexus or if it was metformin still in my system. I don't know what made me ovulate, because at that point I was not ovulating. Obviously, we say it was just a miracle. Like, I mean, I had so many cysts at this time, and I was like at my highest weight. I was not feeling good at all. I had so much inflammation. I don't know. I just like, I ended up pregnant.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah,
no,
nothing.
like,
We have no idea what did it. I mean, I was on Plexus, and then I continued Plexus through my whole pregnancy. But
even what we've learned up to date, like to now, looking back, it's like, how on earth did it happen?
Now that I know the things that I know now about my body, I cannot believe he made it. Like, it's just crazy. And then, I mean, even up until the end, I had bleeding throughout my pregnancy, and then at the end, I ended up having no fluid. And he scored really low on the Apgar test right before I had him, and my placenta had died, or like stopped feeding him around 33, 35 weeks, depending. I mean, we don't know, but he measured way small. Like, there's just so many things that there was pocket of blood.
He was
or
born
air.
at like 41 weeks and measured at like 35 or 36.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
he weighed 7'1", but it was all fluid. Like, he dropped all of that. And I mean, most babies drop weight pretty quickly, but it was a lot.
He dropped more than what they say they're comfortable with, because they don't want him to lose like what is it, like 10 or 20% of their body weight.
Yeah.
He went from 7'1"
like
to 6'3", and that was concerning to them.
Yeah, but
enough so to make us like supplement.
I don't think he was like externally underdeveloped. It was like his stomach, his lungs. They had to pump stuff. It was just kind of hard at first. So that's the story of him. There's really no good rhyme or reason.
Like an introductory video.
Yeah, just
basically
just
giving you the backstory where we come from. Jinx. Our backstory, kind of like where we're coming from, what we've kind of tried to tackle in the past and kind of really been blind to and not really known very much.
We didn't know anything. Now that I'm like, I've done all the research now, and I still know.
Well, it's research. You've talked to specialists.
Yeah.
You've, all that kind of stuff. So it's more than just like, I think this is what's going on. We kind of have some more where you're about to get more blood work done to kind of figure out where your levels are at. So
Zeke is 16 months now.
Right.
Tomorrow. 16 months. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm 16 months postpartum. Yeah. And this is really the start of our video series of trying to conceive baby number 2. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else we wanted to add to that.
I do remember, this is another thing I didn't mention yet, but one of the things that I took, but like while I was taking Plexus, I forgot to mention this. I did take Fertilade. So I don't know what it was. I did take these not very regularly. I was not very good at taking these. So that's why I'm like, I don't even know if I should mention it, but I did take, I ordered that in November and I was taking it in November while I was on metformin. Then I got off of that and was kind of still like half taking this, but I was mostly on Plexus because that's the stuff that you take every day. So I think that's the only product that I was on other than just like a multivitamin.
And the Plexus, obviously.
Yeah, and the Plexus. So I think that's the only thing that I can like say that I took before because I didn't know anything about PCOS. And I think before it was like PCOS was, the big thing with that was trying to conceive. But now I've learned that I can't live a normal life not managing my PCOS symptoms. So now I've done a lot more research. Shake, shake, shake. Now I've done a lot more research on the products, the supplements, the things I should be taking daily just to help manage my symptoms, even when we're not trying to conceive. So that's what these next videos will be more about. So yeah. This is just something I wanted to document so I don't forget the details.
It'll be cool to kind of look back 5 years from now and see kind of where we're at.
Hopefully in an even better place. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, or if you have any questions, comment below.
That's it for part 1. Thank you guys for watching.
Catch us in video 2.